All right. We're back. Show 2. Dear Nosy Podcast coming at you. Pat, how you doing this morning, bud?
Great. We made it to show number two. Love the feedback and all the support and kind words after the first kind of dry run, and here we are again.
Yeah, it's been pretty fun, man. Only going into show 2. Show 1 was great. We got a lot of, like you said, positive feedback. We did just start the YouTube channel finally. Make sure you go and like and subscribe to the Giranuzzi Podcast on YouTube. Also, the Giranuzzi Podcast page on Facebook. We got up to like 100, almost 150 likes right now, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, so we're on our way. I know we definitely are going to preview the Super Bowl here soon. A couple days maybe. We definitely will touch on that. And I know everyone's itching to talk about the Super Bowl, which everybody's talking about. But I know you are itching to talk about another bowl that starts with an S, the Senior Bowl, which is coming up tomorrow. But I know you want to touch on that.
Absolutely. The Senior Bowl, the premier college all-star game, especially if you're an NFL draft fan like myself, and we both are. This is the creme de la creme for the senior talent coming out from college, going to the NFL. A couple guys did skip it. Josh Allen, the fantastic pass rusher from Kentucky, who had 17 and a half sacks this past season. He was going to initially play in the Senior Bowl, but he backed out a couple days before practice began. Can't kind of blame him. Looks like he solidified himself as a top 5, if not a top 3 or even number 2 pick. But there is some good talent still there. The kid from Ohio State, McLaurin, the wide receiver, he's had a fantastic week. He's really climbing the draft board, as is the edge rusher, Sweat. So there's definitely some good talent there. The guy that's kind of getting the most buzz, who's not there, I know me and you, Sab, have already kind of started debating about where he's going to go, is a certain quarterback from Oklahoma.
Yeah, we're we've been talking about Kyler Murray for ever since he decided he was going to come out, and he told the Oakland A's that he was going to join he was going to enter the NFL draft, and that sparked the debate. Is this guy going to be a top 10 pick? Is he going to be even a first round pick? And I know we got a little side bet going on, and I for one think he's going to be a top 10 pick. You think a little otherwise, first round maybe. I guess we'll go ahead.
Todd, not to interrupt you there, but I don't know. You're certainly right on Baker Mayfield last year. I didn't think Baker would go quite as high at number 1, but you kind of called that from the beginning. I just don't see it. I mean, he's listed at 5'10", which probably means he's probably about 5'8".
Right.
I mean, I get it. Russell Wilson, even Drew Brees is, tad under 6 foot, but I just don't see it. Plus, playing in that, that quarterback friendly system. I think what's really helped them is, with Patrick Mahomes, the success he's had coming out of a similar offense out of Texas Tech. Same family tree there with Kingsbury and Lincoln Riley. But I just top 10. I don't see it right now. I don't.
You went and talked about the similarity and the familiarity. Well, you want to get familiarity, look no further than last year. Baker Mayfield coming out of that same system. Not saying he's Baker Mayfield talent-wise as far as an arm goes, but I just think if you look at the lack of options, so to speak, with with Justin Herbert not declaring for the draft, which kind of shocked everybody. They thought maybe he could be the number 1 pick, or at least the top 3, top 4, because I know John Gruden in Oakland were definitely looking at him. But outside of Dwayne Haskins, maybe Drew Lock, maybe Daniel Jones out of Duke, I just don't see quality quarterbacks in this draft. And I think Kyler Murray just has that playmaker factor, and I know as a Bronco fan, and sitting at number 10, and I love Dwayne Haskins, as you know, we talked about him, and I just love his arm strength, and I just think he's got the look as as an NFL quarterback. Kyler Murray said he's small, he's undersized, just like Russell Wilson, just like Baker Mayfield, but to me, there's plenty of teams. There's three or four teams in the top 10 that need a quarterback, and I think one of them, if not somebody in the back half, gonna definitely trade up and get him in the top 10. I can definitely see it. I just think he's got the talent.
Well, you're certainly right. I mean, there's definitely a lack of quarterback prospects in this draft. Really surprised that Herbert did decide to come back for a senior at Oregon. I thought he
shocked everybody for sure.
I thought he really had a chance of being the first quarterback taken and definitely being a top 2 or 3 pick. So now you kind of mentioned Haskins, Murray, Lockett's kind of going to be a competition who the first quarterback's going to be. Now you look at the top 3 though. You got Arizona picking number 1. I know Josh Rosen didn't have a great rookie year by any means, but it looks like they are committed to him.
Yeah, you
so
can't
I don't
see
think
them
he goes number 1
off that yet.
No, and you got the 49ers picking number 2. They're certainly set with Jimmy Garoppolo, and also they got Nick Mullins as well behind him. And then the Jets at 3, they obviously took a quarterback early last year as well. And I think they're happy with where they're at. So it would have to, be a team maybe jumping in the top 5 like the Giants, or you mentioned your Denver Broncos.
Well, I know. Go ahead. Yeah, I know Mel. Real quick, I know Mel Kiper's first draft, mock draft had him towards the top. I want to say it was in the middle, but then I'm seeing some, Yahoo mock drafts, some NFL.com had him all the way at number 6 to the Giants, and I mean he's that wild card, so to speak.
Well, it's so funny. I've seen him anywhere from 6-13 to the Patriots at 31 or 32.
And then in the 3rd round, I've seen him. It's so he's definitely one we're going to be watching on draft night. I know we can't wait for that. Not to look ahead. But,
no, absolutely. And we're going to have so much draft coverage. If you love the NFL draft, we're going to keep you covered. We're going to have mock drafts. We're going to be previewing every team's draft. So definitely stay tuned for that. But all it takes is one team to fall in love with them. That's all it takes. One team to say, "Hey, this is the guy I want to build my franchise around," and they could maybe trade up to.
You saw a couple years ago, the Chiefs traded up for Mahomes, the Texans traded up for Deshaun Watson. I mean, I could definitely see it happening in this draft. I could definitely see it.
And I think we'll get into the Nick Bosa debate on another show. I know you're maybe not quite as big on him as I am, and some other people are. But is he a clear-cut number 1? I think he kind of is. But does Arizona decide to possibly trade down, get some other picks, and then you can have a team like the Giants or Broncos possibly move into number 1? That's definitely a possibility as well. Personally, I think I like Haskins over Murray right now. I would take him over Murray, but I wouldn't take either guy. Top 5, maybe top 10. Again, though, it is early.
It's funny because for the sake of my team as a Bronco fan, I think I definitely prefer Haskins, but for the sake of our bet, I prefer Murray. But that's neither here nor there.
But let me tell you that this is a meat and potatoes draft, is what I like to call it. It's got a lot of great linemen, D linemen, offensive linemen, some defensive players. I mean, if you like defensive guys, this is the draft for you. You talk about Josh Allen, the edge rusher from Kentucky. You got Bosa. You got Greedy Williams from LSU. You got the stud linebacker from LSU as well. Polite, the edge rusher from Florida. And I even got into Quinn Williams, who's as good of defensive tackle as I've seen coming out. I think he's an Aaron Donald type player. So just a really solid draft for defensive players.
Yeah, if you're in the top 10, top 20, if you need defense, you're licking your chops right now, because you can have 3 or 4 of your guys go off the board and you're still okay with the 5th guy. That's how
Sab, I got 7 edge guys going in the top 20 right now.
And you and a lot of others, and I definitely can see that happen. It's definitely going to be a pass rushing type of first round, and that's exciting for fans. I think you obviously the sexy picks aren't the linemen, but defensive linemen, pass rushers, man, getting to the quarterback. You see,
you got to get after the quarterback.
No one can get to Tom Brady. I mean, you need guys that can get to Tom Brady, because he's obviously the staple right now. So
you got to rush the passer, because it's a throwing league. It's a pass happy league. So you got to have a guy who can pin his ears back and attack the quarterback. And this is the draft to get you one of those guys. As a 49er fan, I'm excited because that's our number 1 need, edge rusher. And boy, we're sitting at number 2, and we have a shot at Bosa. We got Josh Allen there. There's definitely a plethora of guys that we could go with.
It's definitely loaded. And as a Niner fan, you got to be excited picking in that top three. Just switch it over a little bit to the offensive side of the ball, and a guy that's made headlines, obviously, throughout the last couple weeks, or basically since week 17. Antonio Brown, I know he sent out a tweet yesterday, the day before, saying open for business. Antonio Brown has definitely been, with his tweets, everything is kind of like, everything. He wants the spotlight. The Super Bowl's happening, and he goes, we forgot to talk about me for a couple days. Antonio Brown is definitely a guy you can't look away from the numbers. He's definitely performed. He had a quote unquote off year this year, and he led the league in touchdowns. I mean,
unbelievable.
He's an unbelievable talent. He's I believe he's 30. He's hitting 30, or he's
30.
Not 30.
Yep, he's 30.
Yeah. So my question to you is, as a 49er fan, obviously it's been thrown out there that he wants to play for the Niners. Jerry Rice came out and said he wants to be here. Is he a guy you would want on your team? I mean, obviously from a number standpoint, that goes without saying, but a character standpoint is kind of a different story.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Absolutely. When you have a chance to get a guy like Antonio Brown, it doesn't come off. And I think you got to really look hard and long and explore those options. Now, would I give up our first round pick, number 2 overall? No, no, I wouldn't do that. Now, early second round pick, which is basically like another first round pick. Yeah, I would definitely
maybe next year's first.
Consider it, possibly next year's first. Right. I mean, you talk about adding a guy like that into the mix with, George Kittle, who's electrifying young tight end who looks like the next great tight end in the NFL, and Dante Pettis had a solid rookie year. I mean, if you can get that trio going with a good running game that we've shown we have, and we have Jerick McKinnon coming back hopefully next year healthy. I mean, you talk about some weapons for Jimmy G.
Yeah.
Now we'll see. Can they make it? Can they make it work with the numbers? I know Antonio Brown's due a lot of money. I think over 20 mil plus. Now the Niners do have the cap room though, so it's the matter: are they willing to mortgage some of the future with the picks to get him?
Yeah, it's definitely, from a money standpoint, they're a team that can definitely afford him. I know Tyrell Williams is out there as a free agent. A couple other free agent wide receivers that would be cheaper and less of a distraction. But no one's going to give you the production as Antonio Brown. I feel like he's one of those, those guys that at his position is a, not a once in a lifetime talent, but maybe a once in a 10-year talent where if you can get your hands on him, you get him.
And the thing with Antonio Brown too, yeah, he's 30, but even if he starts to lose some of his speed, he's such a good route runner. He's got great hands. I can see him transforming his game and being a kind of a possession guy who can get 100+ catches even if he loses a little bit of his speed. But I think for the next 2 or 3 years, he's still going to be a premier number 1 wide receiver in this league. Team that really no one's talked about, though, and I think would make a lot of sense, would be the Seattle Seahawks. They need a receiver badly. They've shown they're not afraid to trade away picks. I mean, they traded away a first for Percy Harvin, a second for Dwayne Brown. They've definitely shown the past. Jimmy Graham, I think they traded a high pick for.
Yep.
They've always been one.
That would suck for you as far as being a Niner fan and him going to Seattle. I mean, that would be the worst possible situation, obviously.
Exactly.
And I mean, nothing. I mean, the way we saw the Rams spend money this offseason, I wouldn't. Yeah, they might take out a loan somewhere to even go after him in the offseason. You never know.
Yeah, I think they've run out of money and resources. That's one guy I don't think they'll be able to get.
Absolutely.
But it'll definitely be worth watching. And Le'Veon Bell, his teammates, also in the news, looking like he'd like to go to the Dolphins, which is no surprise. As spends his off season in the Miami area,
as many other players do, and as they should in South Beach. I mean, I think that is a home run hit for the Miami Dolphins. As we know, a lot of Dolphin fans, where we are being in Southwest Florida, know the mediocrity is at an all-time high. They're like 76-76 in their last 152 games or whatever it is. It's pretty remarkable. So obviously they need a quarterback. They need a running back like Le'Veon Bell would help take pressure off the quarterback. If you're gonna keep Ryan Tannehill, I mean, I don't know how you keep Ryan Tannehill. It looks like they're not going to. But Le'Veon to the Dolphins would just
they are the definition of mediocre. So they have to go out and make some moves to create some excitement, within the franchise. Looks like they're going to hire Brian Flores, the young defensive coach from the Patriots.
I don't know how Patriots coaches work out. But
Yeah, but I really like. He's a young guy, really smart. Came up as a scout, then administrative assistant. He started on the offensive side of the ball, then coached on defense. He coached safeties, linebacker. Very versatile, young, smart coach. I think he might be a little bit different. Seth. Keep an eye on him. I like Brian Flores.
And I hope he is. And I mean, I have nothing against the Dolphins. I know I got a lot of buddies that are Dolphin fans, and the Dolphins are kind of that running joke where it's like, oh, we're gonna beat the Patriots every year, but we're not gonna beat anybody else, and or win any other meaningful game. So, I personally still think he's gonna end up in Indianapolis. I think after this year and seeing Luck return to form, which I had to put my foot in my mouth for. Obviously, I think they're gonna go get him. I really think they are, and I think
Makes a ton of sense.
They'll make that next step, and they need a. I mean, Marlon Mack had a great year, but does anybody see Marlon Mack being a guy?
He had an okay year. He is what he is. He's a 4th round draft pick. He's
Right.
Good backup, can be a decent starter, but he's an average player.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's so much stuff we want to get on. We know we want to, we got the Super Bowl pregame show coming up, and I know we're looking forward to that. That should be in the next couple of days. I mean, we got.
We're going to cover the Super Bowl inside and out. I mean, we're going to be talking about everything possible from the pregame show to the game. We're going to have it covered, so you guys definitely want to stay tuned. But again, we really appreciate the support, the likes, the text messages, the feedback, interest from even advertising already from a couple people, restaurant stuff. So I really see big things going with this. Being on YouTube now, it gives a lot of more people access to listen to the show. Even got a couple people overseas who listen to the show. So
yeah, so definitely get on that YouTube page, Jared Nuzzi Podcast. Yeah. Make sure you like it, subscribe. Subscribing. A lot of people saying, "Oh, I got to pay to subscribe." No, it's free to subscribe on YouTube. You don't have to pay anything. But
we are at 148 likes, and I know we talked about doing something special, possibly for the 200th like, so stay tuned for that.
Yes, stay tuned for that. So we're gonna get out of here. We'll get out of your hair, guys. We appreciate you listening. Thank you for all the feedback. Please go like and subscribe to the YouTube page, Jared Nuzzi Podcast. Pat, always good talking to you, buddy. And
absolutely
can't wait to get on show 3, and we're gonna dissect inside and out that Super Bowl next week. So that'll be fun.
And stay tuned till next time, till the next episode.
Have a good one, guys.